Look, if you've ever experienced that sinking feeling of being the wallflower when you desperately wanted to connect, you are absolutely not alone. And more importantly, it is not a permanent condition. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely flipping the script on your social interactions. We're going to take proven psychological tricks and transform them into a highly practical, step-by-step checklist for building magnetic rapport at literally any casual gathering. By the end of our time together, you'll know exactly how to walk into a room and instantly command respect. And spoiler alert, it's not about being the loudest, it's not about having the deepest pockets, and it's certainly not about your looks. It is entirely about psychology. All right, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll hit the first impression window. Then, step 1, arrive with calm. Step 2, speak with purpose. Step 3, master the pause. Step 4, set boundaries. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into a daily interaction checklist so you can thrive from the second you walk in to the moment you leave. Okay, let's dive right into part 1, the first impression window. Let's set the scene. You've just arrived at the event. You're right at the threshold, maybe handing your coat to the host. You turn around and face a room full of mingling guests. Right here, this is where the game is won or lost. Most people mistakenly think that respect is something you earn over a long period of time, over months of being a reliable friend. But the brutal psychological reality? People decide exactly how they're going to treat you in mere seconds. Literally seconds. The human brain is a categorizing machine, and the moment you step into that mixer, subconscious judgments are already locked in. And that brings us to the first impression window. It's that incredibly brief moment upon entering a room where your level of respect is decided before you even utter a single syllable. If you don't control this initial window, well, you lose respect instantly. You've essentially dug yourself into a social hole that is incredibly difficult to climb out of, no matter how charming your conversation might be later on. So, how do we hack this window and everything that follows? Here is our 4-step sequence designed to help you handle absolutely any social interaction smoothly. We're going to break down each of these steps so you can literally use them tonight, tomorrow, and at every social gathering for the rest of your life. Which brings us to step 1, arrive with calm. This is all about the physical act of entering the space and navigating those very first introductions. Because before your voice is heard, your body is screaming your vibe to the room. We've all seen the anxious socializer, right? They walk in, eyes darting everywhere, fidgeting with their drink, using these fast, jerky, nervous movements. Subconsciously, fast movements broadcast pure anxiety. Now contrast that with the confident socializer. They step into the room, stand up perfectly straight, maintain steady eye contact, and they just move slowly. There's no rush. They aren't scurrying to the appetizer table like they need a place to hide. Calm, deliberate movements broadcast unshakable confidence. So the internal monologue you need to adopt when entering any space is this: I know my worth, even if I don't say a word. Your body language should be doing the heavy lifting, demanding respect before you ever have to open your mouth. Moving right along to step 2, speak with purpose. Let's move the timeline forward a bit. You've entered the room smoothly, and now you're actually joining a conversation. To understand why this next trick works, we have to look at a fundamental psychological principle called the scarcity effect. Just like in economics, when something is rare, it automatically becomes more valuable. This applies directly to your words. The person in the circle who talks way too much, rambling on to prove themselves, they actually look deeply insecure. Their words become cheap because there are just so many of them. But the person who speaks less, boom, instant power. The key here is choosing powerful scarcity over anxious over-explaining. When it's finally your turn to contribute to the discussion, don't rush it. Pause for a second, think, and then speak. And when you do share your thought, be clear and be direct. Please do not fall into the trap of over-explaining yourself just to try and win people over. Delivering a concise, thoughtful point makes people lean in and truly want to listen to you. All right, step 3. Master the pause. As the evening progresses, we hit the middle of the event. Conversations are getting deeper, the drinks are flowing, and this is where interruptions inevitably happen. Someone talks over you, or the chat just gets chaotic. Well, the power of silence is one of the most underutilized tools in social dynamics. Humans absolutely hate silence. It makes us squirm, and that is exactly why it works so well. When you finish making a point, do not immediately rush to fill the gap with filler words or nervous laughter. Let that silence sit. In fact, let's feel what that uncomfortable pressure is like right now. I'm going to stop talking for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. You feel that? That pressure automatically forces people to take you more seriously. And if someone rudely interrupts you while you're speaking, the absolute worst thing you can do is talk louder or faster to try and win the floor back. Don't rush. Just stop, Pause, look directly at the person who interrupted you, and let that heavy, awkward silence act like a spotlight on what they just did. It forces them to realize their mistake. Remember, confident people don't chase conversations. They control them. Now for step 4, set boundaries. We are moving into the final phase of the event here. The night's winding down, or maybe you're navigating some awkward requests, like someone asking for a huge favor, or you just need to gracefully exit a draining conversation. A massive trap people fall into at casual events is the disease to please. But listen, if you say yes to absolutely everything, people fundamentally stop respecting you. Respect is born from limits. Deploying simple boundary phrases is highly effective. You might say, "I'm not okay with that," or "I'll get back to you," or simply, "Not right now." The absolute key here is your delivery. You have to say these phrases with calm confidence. Zero anger, and importantly, zero over-explanation. You don't need a 5-minute excuse about why you can't stay later at the party. A simple, firm boundary commands ultimate respect. Let's bring it all home with section 6, the daily interaction checklist. We've covered all the mechanics, so let's put these psychological tricks together into one place. This is your ultimate screenshot-worthy toolkit. I highly recommend running through this right before you walk from your car to the front doors of your next gathering. Number 1, move slowly and maintain eye contact to project instant calm confidence. Number 2, leverage the scarcity effect by speaking directly and concisely, ditching the anxious over-explaining. Number 3, when you finish speaking or if you get interrupted, let the silence sit and do the work for you. And number 4, calmly enforce your limits without anger or an apology. If you do these 4 things, you absolutely guarantee that you will build magnetic rapport. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to internalize this core takeaway. People don't respect you because you're nice. They respect you because you value yourself. When you try way too hard to be the nice person who talks constantly to fill the void, who rushes around nervously and says yes to every single thing, you devalue your own presence. But the very moment you start respecting your own time and stop chasing the approval of the room, that is the exact moment respect starts chasing you. It's a total game changer. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. The next time you walk up to a set of doors, hear the chatter of a party inside, and place your hand on that doorknob, who are you going to be? Will you be the anxious person just hoping to be noticed? Or will you use this checklist to walk in, command the room, and completely change how people see you? The choice and the psychology is entirely in your hands. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.